Hi guys, my name is Nathalie and I'm a ceramic artist, and I'm going to do a presentation for you about how to make the base of a bust. What is a bust? It is a sculpture of a person's head. And a really classical way to do a sculpture of a person's head is to put it on a square clay block. Okay, and then the neck will come out of the top of the square block. So it kind of almost looks like a piece of concrete at the base of your head. Yeah, it's very classical. So this particular block that we're going to do as a plinth is really good for a sculpture of a head that's around about 25 centimeters tall. If you're going to get a bigger head than that, then I recommend you're going to have to go bigger on the square. This square is 13 centimeters by 13 centimeters. Actually, I'll just make sure that's true. Yep, so 13 centimeters by 13 centimeters square. And I want you to roll out a piece of clay on the rolling machine, which is right behind me, or you can, if you've got a rolling pin, you can do it with that. And then get yourself a scalpel tool and a ruler and measure 13 by 13. I want you to work on a piece of paper for this, okay? Because we need it to be non-stick. Okay, so get yourself a big piece of paper. So you've cut yourself out a 13 by 13 piece of clay. You pop it down. Then I'd like you to cut out 6 oblong shapes of clay. Okay, there are 2 different sizes. The first size here is, they're all 3 centimeters that way, 3 centimeters tall. And the first 2 oblongs I want you to cut out, okay, are going to be 13 centimeters long. Okay, so 13 by 3. And these are going to, 2 of these, and they're going to be at either end of your square cutout. All right, so I want you to attach the 2 of them. I've already attached one here, and I'm gonna show you how to quickly attach this one here. What we need to do is to slip and score. We always slip and score, which means we score, so we just rough up the edge that we're gonna stick onto, and we wanna cross hatch it, so make little crosses. You do it on the base, you also do it on your piece. So first that way, show you nice and close. First you go that way, doing scratches, and then that way. So you end up with this crosses. You see those crosses? Once you've got the crosses, you can use water. I prefer to use a bit of slip because it's more glue. Basically that's what slip is. It's mud that acts like glue. And I'm just going to put it on, rub, dab, 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 some on. Okay, all the way along. It's a really slippery surface, which is great. And then we're just going to place it on top of that scored edge and press down firmly. Okay, press down nice and firm. Once it's nice and firm, a little trick, I like to use a ruler. You use the edge of the ruler, you place it on the paper right at the edge, and you start scratching upwards. So you're actually going from the corner where the clay meets the paper, digging in there and then flicking up. That is giving you a really nice edge, and it's really making that side really seamless. I'm going to show you. Look how seamless that is. That's just from the ruler. Okay, so I'm going to pop that back down. We still have to do the inside. So I've done the outside with the ruler. On the inside, you're going to coil a long piece of clay like this. And then you're going to put some water, some slip over the coil. Okay, and then just place the coil on the inside edge in here. Once you've placed it, it's just a matter of pushing it down with your finger. And then use your nail, the back of your nail, to push it right into that corner, supporting the outside of your square with your hand, pushing it right in there and smoothing it out. There's leftover bits at the end. And then I'm going to show you what that looks like. That coil just smoothed right in to that edge, okay? So you're going to do the same for the two sides of your square, remembering those two oblongs were 3 centimeters high by the full length, which is 13 centimeters long. Then I want you to cut out 4 more oblongs. These are slightly shorter, okay? They're slightly shorter because they're going to go in between these 2 columns that are already there. So instead of being 13 centimeters the whole width, it's 2 centimeters shorter. So these are actually 11 centimeters long, still by 3 centimeters high. There's 4 of these. We're going to simply place them, one at each end, okay? So you can see we're starting to make this box-like structure, okay? And then the other 2 are going to also be put in there and there, okay? You're going to slip and score all of those, all right? Remember, cross, 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 cross. Do it both sides that you're going to stick. Get your slip, chuck it on, and then place, push down. Okay, really push that down because it's like that glue is activating. There's one thing actually, there is another 2 edges here. So I'm just going to take that off for a second. Don't forget the 3 centimeter high bit, okay, because that has to attach to the corner. So we're also slipping and scoring that 3 centimeter area on all edges. Slip and score, back and front. So you've got your slip on the edges as well. Okay, now let's put that in place. Okay, so you press down on the base and then you press the edges together so it all comes together like glue. Okay, remember that trick? Get your ruler, because we're on the edge. We're going to put the ruler into the side there and we're just going to simply scratch the clay up. It makes this wonderful, very straight and flat edge on your plinth. And as for the top bits, I want you just to put a little bit of slip on the top, and you can do the same. Scratch it over and across onto each other. Remember your coils. Okay, there's the coils that I've rolled and rolled and rolled earlier. Place some slip all along the coil, and then into that edge, into that corner on the inside, okay, and smooth that out with your finger. So I've just shown you how to do that twice. And I want you to imagine as though it was done for all 4. Right now I'm just going to put them in place. I'm not going to do all of them because you know how it works now, but I will put them in place. So you've got this one here that I just did, and we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. See how nicely they fit all in there? And we're going to score and slip all of those 4. So you've got, so you've got 4, basically 2 columns on the inside of a square, like that. Now you might say, how is this working, Natalie? How is this going to end up being a plinth? It's easy. You will notice that these 2 columns on the inside, they actually act like supports, okay? We're going to flip this over, and when we do, you will notice, okay, oops, I haven't scored and slipped that yet, but you get the idea. Might just have to quickly do a little bit, just so it doesn't slip around. Just going to put them in place just a bit. Okay. All right. Great. Okay, now I can turn this over. So I'm going to turn this over. As you can see, remember in that shape that we've just done, we've slipped and scored all the edges, and we've got this shape. This is the underside. I want you to put your initials in there, maybe on the edge. NB 2021, because that's the underside of your sculpture. We're going to flip it over. And look at that. Wonderful, once you've slipped and scored, this wonderful square upside down box. It's not quite finished yet, one more step. You find the middle of this square box, okay? You will need to use your ruler, remembering it's 13 centimeter sides, so half of that is 7.5. Okay. Sometimes it might have moved around, so you just measure what it is now. It's actually gone to 12, so it's about there. Okay, so it's about 6.5, so there's the middle. Okay, find your middle, put a dot in it. Dot. Once you've put your dot in there, what I would like you to do is simply carve a hole that's the size of a 50-cent piece, okay? Right in the center of your upside down box. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now with the scalpel tool. 50 centimeter sized round hole. Okay, that should just slip right out like that. All right. So now you've got this hole in the middle, and you might ask, why have I got the hole in the middle? That's because when we make the armature for your head, there's going to be a stick that goes straight through the center, and we're going to build an armature around that, and the head is going to come around and be supported by a stick that goes through the center. But that's your base. It's very solid. It's got wonderful solid sides, and remember those two supports that we have in there as well. The reason we have those two supports is for when you start placing a head's worth of clay on top of this box, you don't want it to sag in the middle because it's going to take a bit of weight. So those two supporting structures in there is going to keep that as a really solid base. Well done, guys. You've just learned how to do a square box plinth, and we're ready now to do the next step in the next video of starting to construct your clay head. But for now, keep it on a piece of paper, and we're going to wrap it loosely in plastic, and we're going to leave it. We want this to be a little bit dry. Yeah, not completely dry, but maybe leather hard by the next lesson when we will do the head. So we want that to be strong and sturdy. So dry out just a little bit. Okay, see ya.